Welcome to LMC, Little Mercury Club.
Long ago, above a beautiful city filled with lights and laughter, stood a magnificent golden statue. People called him the Happy Prince. His body shined with gold. Bright blue jewels sparkled in his eyes. A glowing ruby rested on his sword. During the day, people admired him from below. "How beautiful he is," they would say. Children smiled while looking up at him. Travelers stopped to admire him. Even rich people proudly spoke about the statue. From far away, the Happy Prince looked truly happy, but nobody knew the truth. Because high above the city, the prince could see everything. He saw hungry children sleeping in cold streets, poor workers struggling through long nights, lonely mothers quietly crying beside their sick children, and slowly, the prince's heart filled with sadness. One cold evening, a small swallow bird flew into the city. His friends had already flown far away to warm lands, but the little swallow stayed behind for a few extra days. Tired from his long journey, he searched for a place to rest. Finally, he landed beneath the great statue of the Happy Prince. "This is a wonderful place to sleep," the swallow said happily. But just as he closed his eyes, a drop of water fell upon him, then another, then another. The swallow looked upward in surprise. "There are no clouds in the sky. Then why is it raining?" And suddenly, he saw something unexpected. The Happy Prince was crying. Large tears rolled slowly down his golden cheeks. "Why are you crying?" asked the little swallow softly. The prince looked down sadly. "When I was alive, I lived inside a beautiful palace. I never knew sadness existed. Music filled my days. Pleasure filled my life. Everyone called me the Happy Prince. But now, I stand high above this city, and I can see suffering everywhere." The swallow listened quietly. Far below, inside a small dark house, a poor mother sat beside her sick child. The child was weak with hunger. "She works all day sewing clothes," said the prince softly. "But she has no money to help her child. Please, take the ruby from my sword and give it to her." The swallow hesitated. He wanted to leave before winter arrived. But looking at the prince's tears, his small heart softened. That night, the swallow carefully removed the glowing ruby and carried it across the sleeping city. He entered the poor woman's house quietly and placed the ruby beside her. Then he returned to the prince. The next morning, the poor woman cried with joy after finding the ruby. Meanwhile, the swallow prepared to continue his journey. But before he flew away, the prince spoke once more. "Little swallow, will you stay one more night?" The swallow looked uncertain. But once again, he could not refuse the prince's sadness. Far away, the prince saw a young writer sitting alone in a freezing room. Papers covered the table before him. His hands trembled from hunger and cold. "He dreams of becoming a great writer," said the prince softly. "But he is too poor to finish his work. Please, take one of my sapphire eyes to him." The swallow became shocked. "But your eyes are beautiful jewels." Still, the prince gently smiled. "Please." So the swallow carefully removed one sapphire eye and carried it through the dark city. The young writer woke up and saw the shining jewel. Tears filled his eyes. "Now I can continue my dream," he whispered softly. Night after night, the swallow stayed beside the prince. And every night, the prince gave away more of himself. Another sapphire eye, pieces of gold from his body. The swallow carried them too. Hungry children, poor workers, lonely old people, suffering families. Slowly, something beautiful began happening in the city. Children smiled again. Hungry people found food. Cold homes grew warm. And for the first time, the swallow understood true happiness. But winter slowly arrived. Snow covered the streets. Cold winds filled the city. The swallow grew weaker every day. His friends were far away now, in warm, beautiful lands. Yet he stayed beside the prince, because he no longer wanted to leave him alone. Meanwhile, the happy prince no longer looked beautiful. The gold covering his body was gone. His jewel eyes had disappeared. The city people no longer admired him. "How ugly the statue has become," they complained. But the prince did not care, because for the first time in his life, his heart felt full of love. One freezing night, the swallow became too weak to fly. With his last strength, he climbed onto the prince's shoulder. "Dear prince, I must leave now," the swallow whispered softly. "Not for another land, but forever." The prince became silent. Then the little swallow gently kissed the prince on the lips and quietly closed his eyes forever. At that exact moment, a strange cracking sound echoed inside the statue. The prince's lead heart had broken in two.
The next morning, the city leaders looked at the statue with disgust. "It is no longer beautiful," they said. So they pulled the statue down and threw it away. The dead swallow was thrown beside it. But when workers tried to melt the statue in fire, something strange happened. The broken lead heart would not melt. No matter how hot the fire became, the heart remained. So they threw it away beside the dead bird. Far above the city, God spoke softly to an angel. "Bring me the two most precious things in this city." The angel returned carrying the dead swallow and the broken heart of the happy prince. And God smiled gently. "You have chosen correctly, because true beauty does not live in gold or jewels. It lives inside kindness, love, and sacrifice." Some people shine beautifully on the outside, but remain empty inside. And some quietly give away everything they have to bring light into another person's life. True happiness is not found in wealth, beauty, or power. It is found in kindness, love, and the willingness to help others, even when nobody notices.